Now, the National Association of Independent Pharmacists have taken pharmaceutical retail giant CLIX to the Constitutional Court. The matter relates to the fact that CLIX Group owns more than 600 pharmacies and also owns a manufacturing pharmacy. Unicorn Pharmaceuticals, amongst its motivations, are the issue of pharmacy ownership and patients and consumer rights. Joining us to explain their case is Jackie Maimin, CEO of the Independent Community Pharmacy Association of South Africa. Jackie, good evening. Good to have you with us tonight here in Focus. It's been a long battle. It's been back and forth. You won some rounds. The CLIX Group have, of course, appealed the last ruling, saying they are not killing the small guys. They are not harming consumers. In fact, they are saying CLIX corporate structure was lawful. It was, in most instances, saving customers money. And they were promoting all other aspects of ranges of branded products. You're saying that's not enough?
No, good evening, Tabu, and thank you for having me. Yes, I think, the crux of this matter is that the Pharmacy Act, and it's Section 22A of the Pharmacy Act and Regulation 6, they stipulate that a person, an entity, a company may not own a community pharmacy and also own or have an direct or indirect beneficial interest in a manufacturing pharmacy. It's in our law. It always has been there. And the reasons for this is that it's to stop mischief, as the High Court Judge Sievers said. And that this mischief is that if you have a pharmacist who is going to benefit financially or via incentives to recommend a particular medicine over another medicine, there's this potential conflict of interest. And in fact, Judge Sievers went on to say that this could result in consumers or patients not getting the best quality product at the best price. Yeah. Products which are not strictly needed may be recommended and sold, and that this conflict of interest could also mean that the manufacturing pharmacy discriminates against pharmacies that are not within its own group. And we do see that. For instance, the Unicorn products are only available at CLIX pharmacies. Yeah. So if I'm an independently owned pharmacy or a Dis-Chem pharmacy, I cannot purchase Unicorn products at all. And this is limiting access. Yeah.
So they're saying they are not promoting just the CLIX drugs. They're above others. In fact, they are making a much broader offering, which in a sense, they are saying, well, that would bring down the cost for the consumer. Are you arguing against that?
So we're not arguing or saying anything that CLIX is doing something wrong. The reason the law is there is to prevent this conflict of interest. So if I'm a pharmacist working in a pharmacy that also owns a manufacturing pharmacy, and part of my performance appraisals is that I sell a certain percentage of my own product, my own company's products, I'm conflicted. So, Tabu, if I want to recommend something to you and I'm a bit below on my performance appraisal, and I've got two products in front of me, and really product B is the product that would be the best product for you, but I actually need to sell more of product A. There's this dilemma. It's a pharmacist's dilemma then, and that's what we're trying to move away from. So at no time are we saying that CLIX is doing it, but there is the potential for this conflict of interest, and it's the principle that we're fighting. Yeah.
Why, in your understanding, was this corporate structure allowed with the Pharmacy Act in place? I mean, as you say, it's illegal. They're not supposed to do it, even though they are saying their corporate structure is perfectly lawful. But you're saying it was not supposed to happen. The custodians of the Pharmacy Act, why did they not act on this particular corporate structure as it emerged?
So I think the corporate structure that is in place has been very cleverly put in place, and it hinges on actually an English definition of ownership, in that you've got companies that have been put in between. So you'll have the big conglomerate at the top owning a number of different companies coming, sort of descending down. But we're saying you need to pierce that corporate veil. If some fancy footwork as far as putting companies in place is enough to circumvent a law that was put there to protect patient rights, that is not good enough. And that is what ICPA is saying, that patients have the constitutional right to access to medicine. And we believe that the corporate structure, as it is now in the CLIX structure, is in contravention of that act. And that's what we're hoping to prove at the Constitutional Court.
Yeah. The other, I suppose, way around this that CLIX is trying to approach is that they are not manufacturing, they are merely importing and repackaging, which they claim it's something that many generic medicine manufacturers are doing.
Absolutely, and they're quite correct. In fact, I think there are only 2 companies that actually manufacture in South Africa. It's very sad, and I hope that we fix that over the years to come. But that doesn't mean they're not a manufacturing pharmacy. The fact is they get products in. They are marketing these products. They're selling these products only to their pharmacies. So they also are not bringing in additional medicine. There are a certain amount of medicine in the country, and they have carved a section off, which they've kept now solely for themselves. And as I say, the mischief that we're trying to stop is this potential conflict of interest. On one side, the pharmacist having a dilemma whether to sell you product A or B, and then on the other side, where the manufacturer is limiting access to their products. As I say, only CLIX pharmacies can buy unicorn products.
Yeah. And what has been the impact of that? Is that killing the independent player?
So no, it's not killing the independent player, but I'm going to give you a scenario here. So there are certain medicines that myself as a pharmacist, I would not recommend that you change. You'll know that if you go into a pharmacy and a doctor prescribes an originator product, we by law need to tell you that there are cheaper generic equivalents available. Now, we would do that. We have to by law, and this means that you could get the same product made by a different manufacturer at a better price. However, at the same time, if you are on an anti-epileptic or certain cardiac medicines that have what they call a narrow therapeutic index, in other words, the slightest change can have an effect on the therapeutic value of that medicine, I'm going to say to you, Tabu, there is a generic available, but you are stabilized on this medicine, and I don't recommend that you change. Okay, so that's the scenario. Now, you go into a CLIX pharmacy, you're an epileptic, you've got an epileptic child. He is stabilized on a unicorn anti-epileptic, anticonvulsant. You now go on holiday somewhere and there isn't a CLIX around there. You go into the independent pharmacy or a Dis-Chem or a Pick and Pay, whatever, and you are on unicorn anticonvulsant. We cannot get that medicine for you. We cannot buy it even though it is readily available, and this is limiting your access. And I think this is the problem that we have with this.
Yeah. Is there a particular reason why you are limited from getting that unicorn product?
Because they keep the unicorn products for themselves. They are solely distributed to CLIX pharmacies.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
And I mean, their argument, of course, they're saying if they are able then to I suppose, get that, what are you saying, bulk buying power, it brings about a saving to the consumer.
Yes, I agree that with bulk saving there is a saving, although what I can say to you as well is that the unicorn products are not always the cheapest available. We have a range of products. When we work with medical schemes, we work with formularies, and as a pharmacy outside of the CLIX brand, I have access to generics equal to or better than the unicorn price. So the argument that they are bringing in the best price doesn't hold. They are good prices, I will give them that, but then also remember that as the reason we've got the Competition Commission in this country is to limit monopolies. So as a company grows bigger and bigger and has less and less competition, there is this realization of shareholders' benefits, and the prices can be pushed up, and this is what we're trying to prevent.
I'm going to go back to this question. I mean, why do you now as independent pharmacists have to fight this? You are not the custodians of the Act. Why is the Department of Health not taking this fight on?
Well, that's a good question. And you know, I think ICPA, we are a non-profit company, and we happen to represent independently owned community pharmacies. But we could see this happening. And if we look at the big picture and the fact that we are here to look after our patients and our patients' rights, and we know we're moving towards NHI and universal health coverage, somebody needed to do it. And we could see there was an injustice here, and so we decided to take up the mantle and to fight this. The other reason as well being is that this particular CLIX corporate structure is possibly only the first, in fact, probably only the first. Others will follow. We've even been offered to have our own label. Now, if that had to happen, if each pharmacy group had to get their own manufacturer and start selling only their own products, we really will descend into a bit of chaos. The first thing that will happen is that we will be left with very few manufacturers in this country, and we could lose potentially life-saving molecules, because I might have a range of, 100 generics, but in fact there are hundreds of medicines out there. And it really will, we're looking towards the future, and we believe it will limit access, and it will not have a good result for the pharmaceutical industry.
That there was Independent Community Pharmacy Association of South Africa CEO Jackie Maimin. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on.